Hey there, welcome back to Total Geek Live Baltimore Presents. I am Baltimore, and today I am bringing you War of the Realms. That's the recently concluded event from Marvel, starring Thor and the Asgardians. It was a very interesting event. Uh, wasn't totally on board with it when I heard about it, and I don't read Thor regularly, so that was probably part of the reason. But I do kind of love these events where you get all these corners of the Marvel Universe together to tell one big story. Um, that being said, I do think it was quite bloated, this event. And, as always with Marvel, they take a really fun idea, an interesting thing, and then expand on it to the point that it kind of loses some of the charm and the original fun intent. And with all the spin-offs, I mean, there were a lot. All the spin-offs kind of diluted it as well, because if you're reading just the War of the Realms, the 6-issue event book, you get most of the story, you get everything, but then there are points where you're like, well, how did this happen? And where did these people come from? And how did this happen? And in order to know all that, you have to read all the spin-offs. You have to read Journey into Mystery. You have to read the War Scrolls. You have to read the X-Men tie-in, the Punisher tie-in, the Avengers tie-in, the Captain Marvel tie-in, the Miss Marvel tie-in, the Squirrel Girl tie-in. All these tie-ins, Fantastic Four, all these tie-ins to kind of get the full story. And then like the little Strike Force minis, the one-ish shots that we had. And to me, that is a little, leaves a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. I understand and I get it from, the standpoint someone gets to tell a story, you get to tell this little part of the story. But then you get these moments where you're like, didn't I just read this? Like, why is this so familiar? Like, oh, because the main book had 2 of these pages already in it. And you're like, well, that's kind of I don't know if I would say a bummer, but it's kind of like a really kind of moment. But this, Jason Aaron, who is the writer for this event, has basically been writing Thor for like 7-ish years, I think. So this is his grand like finale, and I think he did a great job. He hit it out of the park. I didn't love a lot of this, but I thought that he did a really great job of tying up all of his storylines, all of his little plot points that he had been, dropping throughout the entire run, 7 years, and kind of making them all make sense and giving you some really, really great moments and action beats and story kind of character moments that you're like longing for. I thought that was really great. We get to see the reason why King Thor from the future, has only one eye and is missing his left arm. We get the backstory for that, which is fascinating. We get to see all the Thors again, so we get to see Jane Foster as Thor. We get to see Thor as Thor. We get King Thor, young Thor, all the Thors, right? And then we get some really great outings from Odin and from Freya. She was amazing, the All Mother, fighting the back of Malekith and all of his evil forces. So basically what this is about is Malekith has declared war on the realms, and he is systematically destroying all the realms and going to take over Earth and divide it up between the people that he is, wanting to leave in charge. All the continents, every area is being, set up for dominion. And, the Earth's heroes have to stand against it. So there were some interesting moments here. I really enjoyed the Champions tie-in. I thought it was really fun to kind of see them come together. You get to see a great comeback with adult Cyclops, who, as one of the time displays 05, he had been part of the Champions, and now, since they left, all those memories have been put back into the recently resurrected old adult Scott. And so he goes to the Champions and kind of gives Kamala a pep talk, and it's a great moment between them. Even even then, I really appreciate it. So that they are taking on an area of the spinoffs. The Agents of Atlas, the new Agents of Atlas, I thought was fantastic, and I love all the new characters there. They're representing the Asia Pacific area, and there's some really great fun characters. You get to see Arrow, you get to see Swordmaster, you get to see Wave, new characters. You get Shang-Chi, which is great. You have Amadeus Cho as Braun, they're leading. You have Jimmy Choo. You've got Jimmy Woo. Excuse me, that was Jimmy Woo. You get Luna Snow. You get Crescent and Io from the Marvel Future Fight game, which is kind of cool. And they're taking on, Cinder, who was the daughter of Surtur. So that's really great series, and I think they're getting a follow-up mini-series, which is great because I'm just loving these characters, and they're seeing. I thought it was really well done, and interesting, and new characters, and I'm always about that. So I thought that was really great. So that was really good. Journey into Mystery was interesting. I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. I like Wonder Man. I like Kate, the new Hawkeye, female Hawkeye. I like Balder was interesting in it. Ares as a villain was interesting. Sort of villain in this. I thought that was fascinating. I was pursuing them. The daughter situation, the young daughter, was a little to me. Like I said, I haven't been following Thor, so I don't know all the ins and outs of all these. But for me, that was the weakest link of this mini-series, this Journey into Mystery. But I liked seeing all the characters come together. It was a really fun, crowd and group that was brought together. So that was cool to see them. War Scrolls kind of just an anthology series. It dealt with Daredevil a little bit more and his use of the Asgardian gifts that he received. So that was kind of interesting. I wasn't a huge fan of the Daredevil arc for this. It just seemed kind of, but it served a point. He was used and utilized, so that's good. And then I have a really love-hate relationship with the X-Men at the moment. Rosenberg is really doing an interesting job, although he's doing a very bloodthirsty job on the X-Men. And they had a 3-issue tie-in to the War of the Realms. And their tie-in dealt with Danny Moonstar, who was one of my favorite characters. She is one of the New Mutants X-Men character, and she was also given Valkyrie powers when the New Mutants were in Asgard many years ago. And they've come back and forth. She's gotten them and lost them and gotten them again. And then, spoiler, in the second issue, or the end of the first issue, I can't remember which one or two, Malekith decimates, kills all of the Valkyries, all of them, with the exception being, Danny's still a Valkyrie, but she's going to be, she's losing her connection because all the Valkyries are gone. And so she's trying to, last stand, hold the fort for all the X-Men and all the humans that are there, and they have a really great series, a really fun series. You get to see Wolfsbane and Hemrahi and Tyr, which is her husband, lover, and Wolf Prince and their child, Tyr, who were killed, both of them. So they're brought back to life by Amora Enchantress, her powers, in exchange to get Wolfsbane and magic. And so Sabretooth is also in this. He gets jobbed a little like, really? And then we see Sunspot in this. But, however, like I said, Rosenberg is slaughtering all the mutants, so this didn't, do too well. So we lose a few, which is... But I think we're getting a big reset with House of X and Powers of 10, so we'll see how it all really shakes out. You have the Avengers in this as well. They have some fun interactions here. You have a lot of stuff with She-Hulk, which is really great and interesting. And then Black Panther, of course, as the leader, and Captain Marvel. So there's a lot of things going on with them. They're making a lot of big plays here. One of my other favorite miniseries is the Giant Man miniseries, because you have Ant-Man, Scott Lang as a Giant Man. You have Raz as one of the Giant Men. You have Eric, who was Goliath, as one of the ones. And you have Bill Foster, who was the son of... actually, it's not Bill Foster. It's Bill Foster's son, who is Black Goliath. So the four of them all team up together to go infiltrate the frost giants. So there's a lot of fun elements there. They're all in disguises, but giant size, and they're just working their way in to try and fight Moonstone, who's the villain of this part. It was really fun. You got to see Cassie again, which was great. Her new iteration, and I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. Back in the main series, you had a lot of things happening. You had when all the Valkyries died, you get Jane Foster just distraught and ends up becoming a Valkyrie now. And we're going to get a new series out of that, which will be great. I'll take a look at that one when it comes. You have Loki being killed pretty early on and eaten. And then you get a surprise reveal back at almost the end of the series. I think it's 5 or 6. When he's revealed alive again and kills from the inside the person that killed him, which is kind of fascinating. Some great stuff between Odin and Frigga, which was really great to see them work through their stuff together. I really love that. The other thing that was really great is Thor tying himself or nailing himself to the world tree that's set in the sun. And that's when you find the sacrifice of the eye, and you're like, oh wow, this is King Thor from the future is our Thor. Maybe it's a little movie synergy, I don't know, but it was fascinating. You get to see the destroyer arm, and then you get all the Thors teaming up to destroy and fight Malekith. So it was a great big battle, a lot of fun. The art was amazing. Dotterman, incredible. Love his work. Just for the art itself, I thought it was really great. The story I wasn't super sold on. I thought it was a little overwhelming and bloated, but I think that Jason did a great job with everything that he was dealing with and wrapping up his 7 years of story. So great job, Jason. Looking forward to seeing more of what you do in Marvel. But let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and share. Comment below. Tell me what your favorite part of War of the Realms was, which issues you enjoyed the most. And I will be back again. And as always, it's all geek to us. See you soon.